Welcome back to the Sunrise Daily. We're joined now by Ibrahim Abdullah, who is a fellow, Chartered Institute of Personnel Management. He's also a former director in Kwara State Public Service. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Timberlake, good morning. Thank you.
Well, the NLC says they are on strike, and the strike is going to be total, irrespective of whoever tries to divide them on this particular one. And several headlines also pointed to that fact. What do you think of all of this making the rounds?
It's very saddening if NLC has gone on strike. This is because the situation we are in this country does not call for that. Remember, we have been in a government that was controlled by a different political party in the last 16 years before President Buhari came in about a year ago. On getting to power, the government discovered that things were too bad than assumed. So a government that has concerned itself with reconstruction, rehabilitation, and revamping of the nation's economy, and all that has been happening since the government got into power about a year ago, we've been briefed. So the problem is the problem of economy. So as more than 70% of the nation's revenue had been based on oil.
So is the NLC supposed to look the other way when the prices of petroleum products have been increased?
No. NLC was expected, to the best of my knowledge and understanding, supposed to dialogue with the federal government. And I was happy when the dialogue started. I was very, very sad when I learned that the NLC under Ayuba Waba walked out of the negotiation table yesterday.
Did you hear the reason?
I heard the reason.
What do you think of the reason?
The NLC was trying to sell its own ideas to the government. And government was explaining its stand on the whole matter, that whoever wears the shoe knows where it pinches.
Did you hear the accusation that the NLC VP made, that you can't call the NLC president to a meeting and then you call another group to the same meeting? In other words, you already have an agenda which you want to achieve and not to genuinely listen and attend to the demands of labor.
Timberlake, I want to say that the Ajero-led faction of NLC, they are still members of NLC. Whether it is a faction or the whole, they are members of NLC. And before now, there was the issue of resolving the election crisis that put them on different sides. So government recognized Ayuba Waba-led NLC as a legitimate body, and it recognized, to the best of my knowledge, the Ajero-led faction as members of NLC as well, that if there is no issue of disagreement between NLC and federal government, the resolution of the crisis between Ajero-led faction and Ayuba Waba, I believe, is still on.
You know, that's the problem there here. For most Nigerians, they also think that the government hasn't handled this pretty well, knowing full well that even when the governor of Edo State waded into the crisis after the elections of the NLC, it would have, I think, put paid to who the true NLC president is. At that point in time, even he and the government, they all agreed that it was Ayuba Waba. What Nigerians are surprised about is having this meeting as well with the Joe Ajero faction of the NLC. They think that the government is embarking on a divide and rule within the rank and file of the NLC.
I don't think so. Remember, if we are to discuss this matter on the point of law, the step taken by the Attorney General of the Federation on stay ex parte motion, which he filed and was granted by the court. We are supposed to be law-abiding.
But they said they were not even represented. They were not even served of all of those. They just heard it in the news.
I can't believe that.
Why not?
He just said that now. That's the vice president of the NLC. He just said that they're not aware of any of such.
I believe when a motion is filed, all the parties should be involved and they should be notified. If they were not represented in the court, then I'm not a legal expert. But whatever court says, we should abide by it and pull our case forward to be able to achieve whatever aim. Let's take note the fact that those who are ruling us, they are not the only group of people that have stake in Nigeria. The ruler and the rule, we all have stake. We should be calm and collected in ensuring that we solve our problem.
Mr. Abdullah.
We should not try to intimidate the government whatsoever.
So you think
Let's
the people
look at the
are trying
concerns of...
Sorry, I knew that. You think the people can intimidate the government into doing something contrary?
A group, an industrial union, a labor union could try to. But they will not carrying all their members along. I want to tell you that by the time the day ends today and you filing the reports of what has happened across the Federation, you will discover that in most states of the Federation, people have reported for duty.
No, but they say it is government that is trying to intimidate labor by taking all sorts of divisive measures or driving the wedge further down that division in NLC.
I don't agree with that. The reason why I don't agree is the fact that how could you be on negotiation table with the government and you walk out?
Yeah, but why didn't the government try to unify both groups of NLC? Why now there's a crisis, you then have to call the other group and reach an agreement with that group? You're further setting division further within the group.
Thank you very much. I was happy when Governor Adam Oshiomhole came in to settle the crisis between them. And I will let you know that as I believe, so many Nigerians believed that in NSC today, if not the issue of this fresh increase problem that has arisen, nobody knew that they have not fully settled. I must tell you that fact.
Mr. Abdullah, is the federal government fair to the citizens?
To the best of my knowledge and understanding, it has been fair.
So how do you account for a sudden increase in the pump price of petroleum products, but you're still negotiating minimum wage increase?
Yes, in that aspect, I would say there is the law which says that government should review salary after 5 years, not only salaries of workers, but pensions of retirees. I look forward to seeing the government that is in power now to be proactive about this. And that is why I believe sincerely that with the submission of the proposal from NLC on 56,000 minimum wage for workers, I believe government will be disposed to negotiate. That negotiation should start immediately and end latest by September or October, so that 2017 budget should have an input that will jack up workers and workers' salaries and pensioners' pension.
I think it's good you mentioned the law about review of salaries.
Sure.
But there's also the PPPRA Act, that there's supposed to be a board that fixes the prices of petroleum products. There's also a law. So why would you take one law lightly and take the other on seriously?
Thank you very much. PPPRA is an agency of government. It has its function. Whatever any agency of government does, it is done on behalf of that government.
But there's a board that's supposed to take decisions for the PPPRA as regards pricing. Now, what the NLC is arguing about is that this price change was sudden. There was not enough consultation, no education of the masses or the unions that are involved. and then the federal government just goes ahead and announces the price.
Thank you very much, my brother. What I would say about this is that I said it earlier, that the person who wears the shoe knows where it pinches. You must have heard the defense from the SDF, that of the Honorable Minister of Information and Culture, and that of the Minister of State for Petroleum, Dr. Emmanuel Ibekachiku. The situation on grants gives an impression that in the next 1 month or two, government may not even be able to pay salaries of workers across the Federation and at all levels, local, state, and federal.
Next 1 month or two?
Next 1 month or two.